Yeah.
We all want to hear you blowing your nose.
I mean, maybe I'll leave that in. Sure, I'll leave that part in.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like, say, nowadays, like in my truck, I blew my tranny. You can't say that no more.
You can't say you blew a tranny anymore.
Yeah, I blew my tranny yesterday. He's like, no, fuck.
He has his own, too. He has his own personal tranny, too, which is interesting.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know. That's weird. He said my, too.
It's in my truck.
Right. It's not just
your tranny can be a truck, too.
Well, it'd be different, I guess, if you said I blew a tranny.
Well, yeah, but I guess I never hear anyone use that for a truck, though. So I guess technically
it's going to be 57 years old.
I think it's still pretty common to call a transmission a tranny.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to go get a tranny filter.
You need some tranny fluid.
Well, I'm not a car guy, am I, Marcus?
You don't know anything about tranny.
Like today, what would a tranny filter be today?
Tranny fluid or tranny filter?
A tranny filter.
Well, what's tranny fluid? That's red, right?
I don't want no tranny fluid.
It's kind of that red. It's like sweet and red colored.
Yeah. And then you have that automatic tranny fluid.
Yeah, one time I had a 1984...
If you guys could see my face right now.
I had a 1984 maroon Ford Escort. It was my first car. And I drove that thing all over the place until one day...
It's happened again.
This happened on Tuesday, and we know it was really hot that day. Hot car. Joining us live in the Alert Center.
How long did you last in a hot car?
Facts that the heat index that day was 105 degrees.
Hot car. We don't yet know about a potential third suspect who was seen speeding away from federal agents at the scene. The whole thing had been a mystery to neighbors.
Hot car.
This is not an accident. This is pure negligence.
I don't know. They should do like a movie called Tranny Fluid or something.
Well,
kind of offensive.
Well, that clip that you sent me was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Like well, okay.
I don't know which clip you're talking about, but okay.
Let me, okay, so it's important, I think, to remember that we're not only talking to ourselves, but presumably we're talking to an audience. Hello, audience.
Yes, hello, audience.
They're out
wherever you are.
They're out there. I mean, we know for certain we have at least 5 people listening to our podcasts on a regular basis.
Oh, wow.
That's a fact. And we don't count. There are 5 people out in the world, at least, that listen to every show. And that apparently are fans. So we kind of owe, because we've never really done this right.
No, we haven't.
We've never really done this right. Like we've never.
Yeah, the haters think that they got one on us, but hey, we're practicing.
Well, we never have even acknowledged that we have any listeners at all. I mean, because basically we never have had any listeners at all. So,
right.
In spite of the fact that we never thanked anybody or told anyone, asked anybody to like support us by subscribing to the channel or anything. We still got people, checking us out, which is like sad, because we didn't even work for it.
Yes.
Right. So I want to change that and say, hey, welcome everybody to the Hot Car Podcast. This is kind of like our debut in a lot of ways, even though this is like the 17th episode called the Hot Car Podcast since we started this a couple months ago. This really, I think, is like the first like real show, I guess. I'm gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that because it makes me feel better.
Correct. Well, we've had to go through a few people. We've had a few rocks we had to go over.
Hey, I'm not a rock. I'm not a rock scientist. I don't know anything about that.
No, you got a good rock story. I know that from Montana, but other than that,
oh, well, that's funny. I mean, So, on our Northwest tour in 2022 with Stoneham, we hit like a few coastal places in Oregon, and it's fun to collect rocks on the beach, and they're pretty when they're wet, and they look really nice. And you bring them home and they dry out, and they just turn into rocks, unfortunately. So one of our stops was in Butte, Montana, and Butte, Montana is like basically like gemstone central kind of in the country. I mean, it's just the geography and the geology of that area, just like that's where you find all these like cool like stones. And I had a box of rocks in the RV that I was carrying with us, and our friend in Montana, like they're well connected with the mines and stuff, and they know all this history, and they're like, hey guys, here's like our gift to you, a bunch of like gemstones and really pretty rocks. And so me wanting to share my stuff, I brought out my box of rocks, and they just didn't measure up. And it became like a joke, like, like Hammy's like, hey, show them your rocks. I was so proud.
And this rock, it was on the beach, and the story behind your box of rocks is amazing.
Well, the story's part of it, but then when you open it up and it's just like some gray, kind of greenish rock, no big deal. Hey, look, this one has a shell on it. And then he has this little vial of like shimmering, green, mysterious rocks that look like they're worth something. You could put it in a ring. But yeah, my rocks were.
And then the looks on people's faces, there was nothing they could say. It's just like, do we tell this guy? And I just sat back like, oh my goodness, here we go again.
Yeah, it was very like, we kind of feel sorry for you now, but we're not going to tell you that.
We're not going to tell you. We're gonna be got like, a booger hanging out your nose, but we're going to let you sit at the dinner table.
That's right. Yeah, so that's our rock experience. And, we had to let it go. I put those rocks away and haven't looked at them for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
That's a nice story.
So let's get into topics.
Yeah, because
we're running short on time.
We're not limited on time exactly.
The airplane log? What about you mean the airplane log?
Wait, what?
The airplane log?
Oh, well, I think, I think that might be the last thing we talk about. But I think we wanted to talk about, Alexei, you brought it up yesterday about Hell Camp. And,
Devil Camp.
And, the Wilderness Therapy Camp. There's a Netflix documentary, right?
Right.
So you were talking about there being some like inaccuracies, or who is this guy who started this thing, and like who's behind?
I mean, I just want to say, like, off the top, that the first 5 minutes of this documentary is historically inaccurate. Okay. And for us as survivors to get a documentary on Netflix is a big fucking deal. Yeah. And for the history of TTI to be thrown under the bus in the way that this documentary does, right off the bat in the first 5 minutes, makes me really unhappy. Because basically it paints TTI as starting in 1988 with this man who started this camp. It does not allow for TTI to be sort of historically factual. Not only that, but they used Paris Hilton in the example to introduce you to this guy.
But she didn't go there.
No, but they use her and her campaigning.
Gotcha. As like kind of like, hey, she's campaigning against places like this, kind of.
Yeah.
And
but without ever talking about PCS and that whole history. I mean,
right.
I would have been more happy. I would have been upset still if they had said that everything started at PCS, Provo Canyon School.
Right, because that's not true either.
But no, but I would have been more happy because at least that would have included a whole bunch more survivors.
Right. In this case, I mean, I haven't seen it, but in this case, it sounds like what they're doing is presenting this hell camp as kind of the beginning and end of these kinds of places.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, look what this guy started and all of the trouble and tragedy that happened because of it. And now, thank God it's closed because of people like Paris Hilton.
Right.
But that's
I don't know if that's how it ends.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, you take about the starting date for.
Go ahead.
Correct, but the starting date for TTI, you can take that all the way back to when did the Department of Health and Services start the welfare program? That's when TTI started.
Well, when
the government and the states got into child welfare.
I mean, I'd even fight to say TTI started with native camps for native children.
Same kind of thing, right? It's the same thing when the
okay, correct. See, I didn't even think about that.
When the state or whoever's in control of the community gets involved in like family life and says, okay, you go here, you go there.
Oh.
That kind of thing.
I just found something.
Because what happens is like private companies, right? Go ahead.
Hold on. Two people are talking at once. One person at a time.
Go ahead. Go, Hammy.
Back to 1958 Colt Synonym.
Can't hear you, Hammy.
Synonym, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said what I found was the origins of TTI
it's really bad.
Can be traced back to 58 with the cult Synanon, a drug addiction rehabilitation center.
Right.
Yeah, that's not
okay. Now you're audible. Go ahead.
Well,
what did you say?
Cut that section out. Let me set the phone here. Okay, I'll just leave the phone right there then. So edit that out. Here we go. In 1958, the origins of the TTI can be traced back. Are you kidding me?
Not really.
Fuck.
Well, where is your mouth in relation to the microphone?
Okay, right now my phone's right to my face.
That's much better.
Okay. And I closed my laptop.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Could be my signal.
All right, so start over with Synanon.
Yeah, in 1958 is where they're saying the TTI started with a cult Synanon, which was a drug rehabilitation center.
Yeah, but that's not accurate. That's not accurate because there were these native camps,
Right.
And
right. But those
what
native
year was
camps
that?
and child protective services and the welfare states.
And plus, whatever technology was passed along to the people of Synanon by the CIA, which was utilized in the program, which was then taken to TTI, was also used upon Koreans in the Korean War prior to that, I feel.
The same techniques.
I don't know when.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, okay, so we could go back for a long, long time. I mean, really. Okay, so let's bring it back up to kind of like the topical idea.
Yeah.
But no, that's all good. In fact, it illustrates the problem with this narrative with Hell Camp, because what it does is create issues just like the thing that we were just talking about. It's not in depth enough historically to be accurate. It appears that the idea is that, hey, look, this is where all this bad stuff happened, which isn't true at all. I mean, we just kind of went through all that. And that's, there you go. There's your problem right there. It should, a documentary should not stir up those kinds of discussions. Oh, is it really true, or where did this start? A good documentary should lay all that stuff out in a summary. Explain, like giving some like context to what they're talking about. I think the documentary on HBO, the Let Us Pray documentary regarding the independent Baptist schools, did that much better because they weren't claiming that like this is where it all began or anything like that. It was more of the case of,
or that this is the only place,
or
right?
This is the only place. Certainly, they did bring in other elements regarding like other programs and institutions that were indeed similar. Because I haven't seen Hell Camp, I can't really, speak to it other than what you were explaining, and then reading about kind of the synopsis of the program. It was a notorious outdoor facility that opened in the late 80s to help so-called troubled teens become better people. They used strict military rules and, quote, no-nonsense approach. And then in 1990, a kid died. This guy, Steve Carasano, he became known as the, quote, godfather of wilderness therapy. I think that may be incorrect.
That is completely incorrect.
Because wilderness therapy, I mean, what's
starts
the
at
history
BYU. It starts at BYU. That's where it starts.
All the Mormons hiking around? I mean, what are they doing?
Well, what happened is for students who were getting low grades in a class or not passing one class, they were offered this alternative program to go out in the wilderness with this guy for a week.
Okay.
And go hike around. And it was based upon that.
Right. So that's interesting. Like where, because in that program, which wasn't
or TTI,
it's so hard to even talk about different. Like quote unquote good things like that, because then you're like, but then the other guy, but then all the But anyway,
there were bad things that happened, but
one of the earliest ones was called Farm and Wilderness, which was founded in 1939.
Aha! See,
the first camp was all boys and was founded under the name Merlicht, meaning more light in German. After its initial success, the name was changed to Timberlake, and a companion girls' camp, Indian Brook, was founded in 1941. Wilderness camps gained popularity in the 1970s as an alternative to incarceration. I mean, come on. It's right. I mean, so why are they promoting this as like the biggest deal? Like who? It didn't even. How long
who
did
did
this
their
camp even
fact
last?
checking? Yeah.
How
who
long
did their
did
fact checking?
Right? How long did Hell Camp even go on for?
Right.
So the kid died in 1990.
Yeah.
He died of exertional heat stroke. I mean, he just got worked to death. This kid.
Yeah.
So, what happened after the death? Okay. Here we go. So, after Kristen Chase's death, and it was a girl too, which is also nice. I mean, that's lovely, right? There's not even some like
wonderful
tough boy.
No.
It's some girl.
Yeah.
And he's like this hard-ass ex-military guy bossing around some little girl and killing her.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that worthy of a fucking documentary? Right. So they face multiple lawsuits.
On the documentary thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wingate. I see the documentary at this. There's red flags right off the bat. What was their focus on making this? It wasn't the story itself. You got Paris Hilton right there.
Well,
okay, that's a red flag.
But not,
they're taking the
not
focus
connected.
off
Right.
of the story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then it's about money because it's on Netflix. If it was more about a story, it would be on Travel Channel, PBS, something like that.
Maybe.
It was all for the money grabbing.
Well, sure.
Maybe.
I'm trying to find out when it ended. Because I'm just curious as to, like, because if this had been going on for, like, a long time, you know, or, like, years and years. Okay, here we go. How long? It seems... 3 years. Wait, hold on. It was operational for 3 years before her death, and then... Okay. Why isn't it saying when the place closed? I can't.
Because it never did actually close, because it morphed into the place that became the place that killed Aaron Bacon.
No shit. Wait, so, wait, is there still a camp there?
I don't know.
That's
I don't know how it's still alive, but I think it's probably still alive.
Well,
I don't think it ever really closed. I just think it morphed, it rebranded.
That's so
but I don't
weird.
know.
It just seems so strange to me that I'm asking Google when this place
And it won't tell you.
And it won't say.
Right.
I mean, I can dig deeper. Challenger Foundation.
But in December 8th of 2022, updated 4:20 a.m. from USA Today, this is a story about wilderness therapy was supposed to help these troubled teens. And this is just an updated story. It's still going on with these camps.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
closed, but they're still
No,
going.
for sure. There are kids out there right now, yes.
Right.
In the fucking freezing cold. Hiking right now, trying to stay warm, trying to survive it.
Oh yeah, there are many that we have no idea about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still looking. Oh my! You hear my dog?
I can hear your dog.
Yeah. Hold on.
I also have 4 very silent pets around me at the moment. Actually, 5.
Hold on. Let me correct that dog thing.
Oh gosh. Okay. Sammy, what are you smoking on over there? Hammy?
Yeah, I'm here. We have some tangerine dabs we got from the dispensary. And then we have a mixture of dabs we call the devil dab, because every time we get some, we throw a little bit in the container and mix it. And oh my goodness. But he's just dabbing. I'm more a dabber.
All right. My dog is satisfied.
Okay, good. But can you figure out this wilderness answer?
Well, I'm still looking.
Yeah?
I'm just looking.
And I'm looking here, too, on that same article. The wilderness therapy business was booming during COVID-19. It says this Jonathan Hyde, former staffer with the North Carolina-based wilderness program, Trails Carolina. So in the United States, there's about 40 wilderness therapy programs, part of 2,000 overall troubled teen programs with anywhere from 150,000 to 200,000 children enrolled.
Yep.
Yeah, it's big. It's huge. It's a huge business, and it's very expensive. And most of it's self-pay in these cases too. This is not in most cases covered by any kind of insurance because it's just a camp.
Wow, I found a list of fatalities. Among the fatalities in 1990, 16-year-old Christian Chase died of heat stroke.
Yep.
In 2000, 15-year-old William Edward Lee died from a head injury.
Is that what you're talking about?
After being restrained by staff.
Different guy.
Aaron
different guy.
Bacon
There's a
is who
whole
I'm
list.
talking about. Aaron Bacon, you'll find Aaron Bacon
in August,
that list.
hypothermia. Yep. Let's see, there's a Charles Moody, Anthony Hayes, Caleb Jensen.
Yep. I recognize some of these names.
Wow. Caleb Jensen died while at Wilderness Camp. His body found bundled in a feces and urine-soaked sleeping bag.
Okay, Marcus. So Steve Cartasano was found not guilty in child abuse charges.
When?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
He died of a heart attack in 2019.
Yeah.
So he's at least not around anymore. But I still can't find any place that indicates when that camp closed. It's so strange.
He settled in 2004. In 94 for $260,000. Aside from that,
so that means
he was essentially shunned from society, seeing that he had ruined his reputation by creating controversial Challenger Foundation, but that didn't stop him from trying to continue his work. Following the closure of Challenger Foundation and not guilty ruling, Steve Cartasano opened more therapy camps for troubled teens and continued to leave a trail of abuse in his wake. He founded Healthcare America, which was shut down when teens under Cartasano's care were found tied to cars, and he had been abused. Once again, the organization's closing didn't stop Cartasano. He later opened Pacific Coast Academy, a pricey therapy camp in Samoa that the United States Embassy put an end to after the video exposing horrific conditions the teens experienced were leaked. Cartasano died of a heart attack.
All right. So this points out something really important that you brought up yesterday. The fact that you're like, who the hell is this guy? Like, I never heard of this guy. But clearly, he was one of those people who, and they're still out there. There's these people that we don't know. We don't know their names. They're not Litchfields. They're not.
But do you remember Chelsea connected him to Litchfield because she talked about this guy who tied kids to cars.
Oh, wow.
I remember that.
Okay.
And I remember how this guy was possibly supplying something major, like possibly like airplanes or something to them or something. Or a lot of their properties were in his name or something.
Right. So he really
was
that influential. And he really was kind of like the godfather in some sense, at least in that era. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll, because it sounds like if the documentary goes into that kind of stuff too, then I'd be much more satisfied with that, because that would give more context to him. I would hope so. Like, I mean, you're reading it. Why wouldn't they include that? Have you not watched the whole thing?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, maybe we're.
I just watched the first.
Maybe we're bashing it a little bit too early. But that's part of what we do. It's
maybe I am, but also, I know that when I start a documentary, and the facts are historically inaccurate off the bat in the first 5 minutes.
Well, that's.
I'm already questioning what the rest of the documentary is going to be like, and that's why I turned it off.
Right. Well, that's important because that's a major flaw. Even if they go into more detail, if they get stuff wrong right away, it's really hard to trust anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get into what Hammy was talking about. Who's funding it? Why is this? who's benefiting from this? Who's making money from it? Like, are the dead kids' families? Who knows? Like, probably not.
Yeah.
My guess would be probably not.
Yeah.
That's not the case. But who is like profiting off of this? Netflix, of course, in some way. But
right.
The producers of the documentary, that it's interesting that going back to the Let Us Pray documentary, because I find that a little bit fascinating too, kind of behind the scenes aspects, is the director, all female crew, about these women when they were girls being abused and lied to, and then we have the male talking head, the preacher boys guy, and that's cool, and he grew up in that environment too. They really didn't get into much of his background, which I found interesting. Like, he was always reflecting on the abuses that the girls were facing, like kind of mansplaining that a bit, right?
Yeah.
But the director is like, whatever, Emmy award winning, all female, like, crew, kind of prestige, packaging, and then you watch it, and it's definitely like a Discovery Channel style documentary that like just has like massive amounts of short clips like that bounce around and to tell this kind of loose narrative, but it's certainly not like skillfully done. There's no like I didn't watch it and think, oh wow, this is like really great. It was more like it seemed more like a news magazine kind of a thing, like where they jump around from woman to woman and then kind of tell most of one person's story in an episode with Preacher Boy popping in every once in a while from an office, talking about how, it's just weird. It makes me wonder, like, does it help anybody? I think financially it helps some of the participants. I know that for certain, and that's great.
I think it does.
I know for certain that the women were monetarily compensated and quite well, and that's really great.
Good.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that too. Like, hopefully because that takes years to put together. And I remember when like they first started showing like the promos of like the poster boards and the duct tape and the fingers up or fingers down stuff. And I was like, what is all this about? And part of it was about the lead up to that documentary.
Well, that all started with Chelsea Filer taking a picture and starting a movement called Breaking Code Silence.
Right.
And that was Chelsea Filer's movement.
Okay.
And then it got hijacked from there.
Sure.
And then it got changed around. But when you first started seeing that, you're connecting two different things. But yeah.
But some of that imagery was used though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was borrowed or like because it was effective.
Well, it's because all of us were united in that cause.
Right.
That was the first time that we all united together.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was amazing. Very powerful.
Well, good. I guess maybe that answers my question. Maybe it does help. These things do.
They do.
If we can say that we're helping in some way by talking about this stuff on our little podcast, which also I've seen direct evidence of, certainly a widely seen broadcast giving out this kind of information, even if it's not exactly right, is good. I think we can come to that conclusion.
Yes. I think just even talking about this, just in general, is just a generally good thing. I think people just talking about it or listening to it.
Absolutely, and hopefully some of the people that are listening who are part of this stuff, these TTI groups and cultures, can work on, working more closely and better together. Because I know there's some of that sentiment going around too, where people are thinking, maybe it is time to mend some fences and like rebuild bridges that were, messed up for a variety of reasons. But the important thing is that survivors and like people like Hammy and I, who have had similar but different experiences, can appreciate the effects that kind of isolation and abuse and torture, the effects that can have on people and how they view the world with maybe some suspicion. And and just the awareness of that and the idea that, okay, we are all in this together, I think can help. Just recognizing that kind of thing. Like, okay, I can forgive someone's like outburst. Sure. Like, I don't have to like get all up in arms about it because I've done the same thing.
Absolutely.
Right? I guess that's it.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at that. A TTI talk with a happy ending, so to speak.
Or a cutoff.
Do you know that every snake on the planet has one dick?
No.
You know how that's possible? You think, well, wait a minute. What about the lady snakes?
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Each snake has two dicks.
Wait, I'm confused. You're confusing me.
Each snake on the planet has
one. No, you said each snake has one.
They all have one, but also they all have two.
No, that doesn't make sense.
They're called hemipenes.
Hemipenes.
Yes, and each snake has two of them.
Hemipene?
Well, that's close enough.
Then how do they have one?
They have one. That's the trick. Like, you're thinking, wait a minute, they can't be possible. What about the lady snakes? But the surprise is, not only do they have one, they have two.
This makes no sense.
It's insane. Check this out. So, you've heard of the swallowtail butterfly?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the tail has no aerodynamic effect.
Okay.
So, you're like, okay, well, what's the tail for? The tail, so when the butterfly is flapping around in the sky and a bird sees it, the bird has a tendency to go for the tail, which breaks off, and the butterfly just flies away and it's cool.
Whoa.
That's amazing.
That's so cool. So
what?
It's a deceptive thing.
I know. It's
a deceptive.
Right.
It's a bait body part. Wow. Evolution's so cool.
Even the bird benefits though, because it's like a tasty little treat.
That's so cool.
And then it grows back. And there are two of them. They're two little
Yeah, but wait. How long did they swallow butterflies last?
I don't know. That's another good question. I don't know.
So how fast does it grow back?
I don't know that.
That's so crazy.
I don't know that either. Yeah, I don't know that part.
What happens if that bird flies by when you're peeing out in the forest?
Was it going to go for the stream?
I don't know. I'd be kind of scared if a bird came down and took my pecker.
Oh,
it wouldn't grow.
I can't grow mine back.
Grow back
like that butterfly.
No. See, I can.
Well, see, but
I have a detachable.
that's important. See,
Oh, you got that Lorena. You got that Lorena
Yeah,
bobbit.
I got the bobbit.
Yeah.
the bobbit.
Yeah.
The,
You got the bobbit wiener.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is evolutionarily, well, that's a word, intentional, though, with the butterfly. Like, it's for that.
Mm-hmm.
You whipping it out, hopefully, isn't for a bird to check out and come, like, try to grab.
Right.
I mean, that's the
Right.
difference. I mean, that could be like a weird fetish thing, I guess.
Yeah,
That'd be like
guys
getting a
who stand
blowjob
in-
from a fish.
I like what?
Yeah, guys who stand.
Somebody's tried that.
Guys who stand in forests naked, waiting for birds to peck their pecker.
Or a guy standing naked in a lake waiting for a fish to come give him a blowjob.
Yeah, waiting for that
Yeah,
blowjob.
that. The
How long
piranha.
And you can't knock it because if you've never had a blowjob from a fish, how can you say it's bad?
So you put a little
See?
bait on the end of it?
Yeah, you pasty. You paste some
you
bait
wiggle
on it. Yeah.
And then hopefully, like, I guess, excite yourself?
Maybe,
wiggle.
but probably not, because that would be too big for the fish to get it into its mouth. So you
Well,
would
depending
probably.
on the size
I mean,
of the depending on the
okay,
size
Yeah,
of
if
the
you're
fish.
using
Okay,
a
yeah.
fish tank.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it
another
might be-
option too. You could just stick it in the tank. And
yeah,
see what-
there
Yeah,
you go.
but you got
could
them
just,
big
like,
old
lie.
Oscars.
Is that I don't know. Is that bestiality?
Yes.
Well, it's not a beast. That's a fish.
Fish.
Yes, but I think we're going to get flagged for this for bestiality.
Well, I mean, it's a conception. It's not. I mean, hopefully, no one's doing
Okay.
this. Okay, let's put out a
Sure.
warning right now. A disclaimer.
Yeah.
Perhaps don't
Try this at the local lake.
Don't go out into the woods and stick your wiener out.
Or your local aquarium, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh wow! Can you? What if there was some guy in the tank?
Oh my god.
Inside the
look,
fish
I
tank
mean-
behind the window.
This isn't out of the realm of possibilities. Because look what happened at Disneyland.
I think
I never got
can
caught.
I can find an article on this, I'm certain.
A minute. Remember the Disneyland guy?
Uh-huh.
I mean, there could have easily
Yeah.
have been like fish in those
Yeah.
like, lagoons at Disneyland. I mean, I think that very possibly. I mean, I don't know. Why wouldn't they stock the lake with fish, right?
Yes.
Yes. So the naked guy, maybe he was trying to get that done.
Okay, so I've got an article.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Alabama man strips naked, jumps into fish tank at Bass Pro Shop, knocks himself unconscious.
Oh, that's pretty recent, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, is
January 5th.
Is that the one in the pyramid? Is that the big one?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks pretty damn big.
That's the biggest pyramid in the world, by the way. Did you know that?
No, it's in Alabama.
No,
I
no.
don't-
Hold on. The Bass Pro Shop Pyramid is the biggest pyramid in the world.
Oh,
Is that right?
maybe.
You mean pyramid scheme?
At the Bass Pro Shop?
I don't know what you're on about,
Oh.
Marcus, but yeah.
Okay, sorry. So the Bass Pro Shop in where is it? It's the seventh
It's
largest pyramid in the world.
oh.
In Memphis, Tennessee.
Huh. Yeah, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's the same place though. I mean, not the same store. Doesn't
Yeah.
Who cares?
So, what are you trying to say?
The impressive part was that he dove into the fucking tank. Not, I mean, I just thought it was also interesting. In addition, that the Bass Pro Shop pyramid is the seventh largest pyramid in the world. That's
Yeah.
I mean, people are interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They want to know about
That's
pyramid
interesting.
sizes.
Is it bigger than Murdoch?
Who's Murdoch?
The Murdoch pyramid.
Murdoch.
What the fuck is?
Ponzi scheme. Wasn't that him?
Oh, well, no, Yeah, right. See, Hammy's getting
The wrong kind of pyramid.
Hammy's getting too intellectual now.
He's getting too clever.
Way too clever by half, as they say.
Well, I've just been watching all this crazy news and knowing that we're in political season now, and it's going to get great.
Ooh, I have an idea. This takes us all the way back to Wilderness Camp. Check it out. So the Bass Pro Shop in Pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. It's the largest Bass Pro Shop in the world with over 530,000 square feet of floor space. It's a national destination experience. And also, it offers something for everyone from the serious outdoor enthusiasts to families looking to have fun. Also, the Pyramid houses a 103-room wilderness-themed hotel called Big Cypress Lodge. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a big convention for Hamstone Academy at the Bass Pro Shop Hotel.
There you go.
And we're gonna fill up every 103 room or whatever. What am I saying? We're gonna have all those 103 rooms booked. You thought Survivor Prom was a big deal. Hannah Kay.
Wait till you see this.
Hannah Kay better watch out, because we're doing Bass Pro Shop Tennessee, Hamstone Academy.
Whoop, whoop.
Get your tickets now.
That woman's pretty incredible, by the way.
Mm-hmm. She's insanely
I have
incredible.
to give her a big shout out. So, she popped up on my radar when we were doing like our Survivor Series interviews, just as like there's, and then always talking about her escape rooms.
Yeah.
Right, she owns a series of escape rooms.
Yes.
And I thought, well, that's like, what an amazing like thing to do for like a living.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur. How cool is that?
So cool.
And then, like, gosh, it was probably 2 years ago when she started organizing and putting out feelers for Survivor Prom. And I was so skeptical. Like, I never like put that out there, but I was like, oh man, because this is also kind of right after a lot of turmoil.
Yes,
and
I was too.
And I thought, oh wow, I wonder if this is really going to get off the ground.
Yeah,
and, I'm just like really proud of her for accomplishing, and everybody who was able to attend too. Pretty great stuff. Survivor.
Ding, ding, ding. We're at the 10-minute warning, guys.
What?
Oh,
you
yeah.
Cut
10-minute warning
till the next show. Okay.
Oh, well, sure. I mean,
I'm just saying 10-minute warning.
Oh.
Oh, okay, well, all right. Cool.
Thanks, Hammy.
Don't we have a next show?
He's always so...
Ain't there the radio show you do, Marcus?
Helpful. Oh, we can talk about that.
Yeah, what tell me more of this radio show you got hooked up with.
So, because this is going to be published after, excuse me. Let me start over.
So, tell me about that radio show of yours, Marcus, that you're working with.
Sure. Actually, Alexei is doing something with that too. So, the radio show is on a online radio station out of Eugene, Oregon, called KHLE, Hysterical Light Eugene. You can just Google that. If you Google KHLE Eugene, it will come up with the station. So it's every Saturday from noon to 4 Pacific time. We have 4 hour block of whatever we want to do, and right now the first 2 hours is my DJ mixes and other. Today it's a shared composition with a guy named Brennan Williams, or AKA B Willie, who happens to be a co-owner of venue in Springfield, Oregon called The Spot. That's a 300 capacity like music venue, and that we want to maybe do some stuff there. I think it would be really fun to do actually a live podcast from the stage. That would be a blast.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's done. Like there are live podcast presentations like happening all over the place. Like both opening for and headlining, like with bands too. Like, you'll get a band, and then you'll have a table and three idiots talking about stuff and like riffing with the audience. It's fun. Fun.
Great.
And then in the 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. spot, it's a music radio program called Curated Shadows, and I have people helping me curate that 2-hour playlist. Alexei's done it. Zane Jenkins, who I want to give a shout out to, and our condolences to his grandfather passing recently. That was quite an emotional experience, talking to the family as he was going on his journey. So, we love Zane. And
shout out to Zane.
And so this week, a random Facebook lady helped curate the playlist.
Cool.
And her name is Miss DJ Brookie, and she picked a bunch of like underground like drill and trap music, of course. Like that's
cool.
That's mixed in with a bunch of local and regional musicians that also contributed to this week's playlist. And I thought that's really exciting because that's going to get a lot more people checking it out too.
Yeah,
if they're actually invested in, and they can hear their songs on the radio. It's always fun. So yeah, that's what's going on.
And where can we find this?
I just told you. It's on KHLE Eugene. You have to.
But you should continue to plug it and plug it and plug it again.
Oh well,
That's what she said.
That is what she said. She said, how often are you going to plug it? As often as possible.
As often as possible.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head.
Okay,
right,
well, I'm not going to go blow my tranny on my truck or nothing.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Tuesday, and we know it was really hot that day. Hot. Joining us live in the Alert Center.
How long did you last in a hot car?
Facts that the heat index that day was 105 degrees.
Yeah.
We don't know about a potential.
All right, take care.
Forward we go.
Listen to the radio.
Bye.
Bye.
At the scene. The whole thing had been a mystery to neighbors.
This is not an accident. This is pure negligence.